What's up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? Your boy, TheDreadMan, is back, and with Avengers Infinity War coming out in just a couple of days, and with me sitting pondering and thinking about it for quite some time, I've actually narrowed it down. I want to talk to you guys about my top 10 solo superhero movies of all time. Now, you kind of have to go back and watch some of these, at least. But, superhero movies were in their infant stage back in the 70s age, like the Christopher Reeve Superman movies, Superman 1 and 2. And in the 90s, when they were getting just a little bit better with the special effects, it was more about the acting and the choreography than it was the special effects and CGI back then. That's why the Tim Burton Batman movies were so good. And, of course, you got your little misses like Batman and Robin and Batman Forever and Howard the Duck, if you even really want to count that one. Even more recent ones like the Green Lantern movie and the mixed reviews that Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice got. But, I made a whole video on that already. But, yeah. And then you got the MCU. Where do I begin? Or where do I even start with that? Like I said, of course, you got a couple of duds in the MCU, like Thor the Dark World, but that was pretty much just used for filler just to set up the movies. I'll talk about that in a second. But, it took me a while to narrow this list down. And just a couple things before I really get into it. One is that this list is just solely my opinion. It's just what I think of superhero movies in the past 20 to 25 years. If you want to leave a comment or video response, do so. Feel free to do so. But, translation, make your own damn list. Second thing is, I'm not going to count any of the animated movies. Now, DC does make a lot better animated movies than Marvel does, but I'll probably make a separate video on my top 10 animated superhero movies of all time later on. Third is, like I said, this list is going to be about solo superhero movies. So no team-up movies, like no Guardians of the Galaxy, no Fantastic Four, no X-Men, no Avengers, no Suicide Squad, no Justice League, none of that. Just all solo superhero movies with just a couple of features, But I'll get into that in a second. And also, one thing before I get into it, another thing, is that this list is going to be subject to change because there's going to be a dozen and a half superhero movies that come out between now and 2022, so in the next 4 years or so. So I'm probably going to make an update list in the next, around this time 2 years from now, I'll probably make a list updated. But I doubt it'll change that much. But once again, solo superhero movies. Number 10 on my list is Thor Ragnarok. This was easily the best out of the Thor trilogy. Thor 1 was above average. Thor the Dark World was okay, otherwise forgettable. But Thor Ragnarok was... It did everything that, the first two movies didn't do while introducing some new elements. Not all superhero movies have to be all dark and brooding, like, movies in the DC cinematic universe. And it added some Guardians of the Galaxy type of elements to it. It let them play around and be silly and have fun while building some characters, and introducing some new characters, and while keeping it linear to the main DC cinematic universe, or the main Marvel cinematic universe. But, yeah, that's my number 10. Number 9 is Wonder Woman, the movie that is known for best pulling the DC cinematic universe right out of the dumpster fire. That is how you do an origin story movie in the DC cinematic universe and do it right. Now, of course, the tone in that movie was dark and it was gritty for most of it, but it had some kind of comedic elements to it, and that kind of kept your attention for a little bit. But the action, choreography, special effects. Some people say they overdid it with the CGI, but you know how Marvel and DC are with CGI villains. But it is what it is. Basically, there were more pros than cons to that movie. Number 8, Spider-Man: Homecoming. Now, they say this is probably like the most true to life and most accurate Spider-Man, that has been made thus far. Once again, there's still a few more movies to go on this list. But, yeah, they finally got the teenaged Peter Parker right. They have, and of course, they have, notice how they say that a lot of superhero movies have subgenres, like some, have like a space adventure, some of them are space operas, some of them are, have to do with magic in the mystical realm, some of them are, and then you got a movie like this that's more grounded and down to earth and kind of like a coming to age type of movie. But I'm interested to see where Tom Holland's Spider-Man is going to go going forward in the DC cinematic universe, or Marvel cinematic universe. I apologize. Number 7, Iron Man 1. Pretty much the movie that kickstarted the entire Marvel cinematic universe. Now, this movie got a special place in my heart, not only because it started the MCU, but because Iron Man is my number one favorite superhero of all time. That's why it resonates with me so much. So if you wanted to, I mean, like a lot of people thought that the first Captain America movie was going to kick it off, but it actually would have made sense because it started off in the 1940s, and the first Iron Man movie took place chronologically in 2008, 2009. But yes, I mean, of course, like, you know, you have your villain problem, which I'm going to get into. But I say that as far as character development and starting, you know, building up the heroes and, like, you know, laying the groundwork for the MCU, this is why it gets number 8 on my list. Or number 7 on my list. Number 6. This is another personal heart-to-heart favorite of mine. Spider-Man 2. Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 2. This was the best movie out of the Spider-Man trilogy, mainly because of how good the villain Doc Ock was. Now, I mean, like, and it added, like, some more depth to him. It showed you, because, like, what this movie did is what a lot of superhero movies back then didn't do, because it was just mainly all about the action, and it didn't really show too much of the man inside of the costume. You know, Peter Parker is struggling, you know, to be a college student and, you know, be a family man, or, you know, have, you know, spending time with his grandmother or spending time with Aunt May, trying to build a relationship, trying to keep a friendship, and all the time, you know, trying to balance being a superhero. And it's hard for him. And he doesn't know if he can really handle juggling all that and saving New York City. But Doc Ock, I mean, he's so far the best Spider-Man villain on screen. Besides, now, you know, I'm going to go ahead and say it. I think that he was better than Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin. But, you know, like I said, that's, you know, up for debate. Now, now we're getting into the nitty gritty here. Number 5. A lot of y'all might get mad at this one. Why? A lot of y'all are probably going to be like, well, why is it so low on your list? It should be top 3 at least. Captain America: The Winter Soldier. This movie blew my mind. It's because it had that whole espionage kind of thing going on with it. And, of course, there wasn't a lot of super fancy CGI, well, minus that helicarrier getting blown out of the sky. But other than that, I mean, like, it was the acting was fantastic. You get to learn more about, you know, the Winter Soldier, the character, and you get to know more about Captain America as he assimilates to this modern world we're in. And the fights and the choreography were top notch in this. Like, I like that more than I like I like the hands-on fight scenes better than I like the explosions and the gunfights and the, you know, the CGI. And like I said, the story is top notch, which is pretty much why if you don't rate the Winter Soldier a 10 out of 10, you have to rate that movie at least a 9.5. Number 4, Deadpool. You know how they say that there's some people who are born for certain roles, who are born to play certain roles? Ryan Reynolds, he is Deadpool. I have to say, like, out of any movie on my list, like, this movie, Deadpool, is probably the most true to life that a character can actually get. Like, you can't get that much of a better casting choice than Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool. And why the first Deadpool movie was such a success is because of how accurate it is. Because everybody knows that Deadpool is this crazy, zany character who is self-aware. He breaks the fourth wall. He talks to the audience in first person. He actually refers to the audience. And the thing is, like, a lot of superhero movies don't do that. So, and the thing is, Deadpool was not that much of a mainstream character anyway in the last 2 years. Like, Deadpool, they took a chance on him. They took a risk with that, and it paid off because not only did a lot of hardcore comic book fans come out and support the movie, but, you know, a lot of casual moviegoers did too. And that's what made it the success it was. Hopefully, Deadpool 2 rocks our socks. Number 3, Black Panther. We had to do it for the culture. But Black Panther, the timing for this movie was amazing because Black Panther had so many things that it had to do. It had to tell an origin story. It had to introduce more people. It had to lay the groundwork for future MCU movies. And it did all those things right down to a T. And everybody was talking about, well, the MCU has weak villains. Guess what? Ryan Coogler said, hold my damn beer. watch this. And they casted Michael B. Jordan as Eric Killmonger. And people was like, well, is Michael B. Jordan, he's normally the baby face or the supporting character of a movie. Is he going to have the actor job to play a convincing villain? Yes, he is. He did that and then some. He solved the MCU's villain problem. And hopefully they can do that, with movies going forward. And Chadwick Boseman, you did a top-notch job. But a lot of people say that he got outshined by Shuri and the Dora Milaje and Killmonger. But, I mean, I don't think that they could have made a better choice for Black Panther. Number 2. I juggle with these top 2 movies. You can really put either one of these at the top 2. You can either put one of these in number 2 and number 1. But I'm going to go ahead and say it. Number 2, Logan. The end of the Logan trilogy, or the Wolverine trilogy. This movie is heart-wrenching. And the thing is, it tells Wolverine's tragic story. And it actually links up to the Marvel Universe, well, the Fox Marvel Universe, pretty linearly. And we get to see Wolverine, not the superhero, but the man. But the thing is, Wolverine, he doesn't really consider himself to be a hero. He's just a mutant with these powers who are considered a curse. And he's had to carry that burden with him his whole life. And in this movie, he has a daughter, and he has to pass on what he knows to her because he's never felt any really true emotion before. And he's even said it himself in the movie, that every time he gets close to somebody, he loses them. Either they die, get hurt, or they fall off from him. But yeah, that movie was heart-wrenching in more than one way. Number 1, my number 1 superhero movie of all time. And once again, this is subject to change. And I guess you pretty much, all of y'all pretty much guessed it by now. The Dark Knight. Christian Bale and Heath Ledger's chemistry in that movie was phenomenal. And everybody talks about, how much better the Marvel Cinematic Universe is better than the DC Cinematic Universe, even though that the Chris Nolan Batman trilogy doesn't coincide with that. One thing that the Batman trilogy did that the DC Cinematic Universe, or that the Marvel Cinematic Universe didn't really do up until the Black Panther movie, is give us villains that we care about. Like, why? Because here's the thing. Everybody knows the origin of Batman. We all know that his parents were killed. He's a rich orphan. He spent years and years honing his skills as, training himself to be Batman to fight crime. But what about the villains? Why should we care about the villains? It's not just we're like, oh, I'm a bad guy. I'm a bad guy who's hell-bent on destruction, and the good guy is my foil and he has to stop me. No, you got to give him purpose. You got to give him reason. You got to give us a reason to care about why he's doing what he's doing. You have to give him a motive. And his motive in the movie was he was an anarchist. He saw the world different. He saw this world as corrupt. He saw it as foul. And some people, there's some fan theories out there that Heath Ledger's Joker was actually the real hero of that movie. And once again, you can really debate on that. But The Dark Knight is my number 1 favorite superhero movie, solo superhero movie of all time. But anyway, you guys let me know what your top 10, top 5, or just hell, number 1 superhero movie of all time is in the comments. Thank you guys, and I'll be back with another video soon. Peace out.